Next is underneath the steering column here. We've got our 2 screws. We've got one there and one there. Take those out. First, we've got to pull this top out, it looks like, because that's where it connects in. So there's a tab here, and there's a tab on this other side. You pull that back to pull this out. And then now you can see where those are clicking in there. And then these should unclick on both sides. And now you should be able to take that off. So I think next, this wire here is for command start, hanging down off of the pillar column. Next, I think what we're going to tackle is the steering column, get that out of the way so we got some more room to work. So there should be 2 screws in the bottom in this piece here to take out. I believe those are Phillips. So we'll take the cover off of here, and then there'll be some electrical connectors to disconnect. And then we've got to come up underneath of here. And I think we're gonna disconnect the steering column from there. If you can see the U-joint there, I do believe we can disconnect it off of the shaft, and there'll be some fasteners in here as well, and then we can get that steering column out of our way. We took the cover off from around the steering column here to access all the wire connections. It's just 2 screws, 2 Phillips screws. Take those out, and this just pops apart, and we can get at our steering column here. So then what I did was I took out the gauges, and that's just 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4. You remove those 4 screws, and then there's just a plug on the back that plugs into there. So you just pull that out. I just set it to the side for now. And that gives me all of my access in here for all of these plugs. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And then there's this other one, 5. And if we get under here, there's this pin connector that goes into the bottom of the ignition. Disconnected that. And then in our case, we've got this taped around here and this wire, and we chase it back, and there's a plug on the end, and that plugs into this piece here. And if you open this up, there's the spare key that's inside of here. And what this is it basically bypasses the anti-theft system. So I don't know, this is one of the ways that they did that. I can't explain how it works, but that's what that's for. So we just want to disconnect that. And also too, I might have to disconnect. This is a switch that's going to the command start, but I haven't got to that part yet. And what I did was the command start wire was hanging down and bothering me, so I just tie wrapped that up out of the way so it's not interfering with what we're doing here. So what we got left is in the bottom. This is interesting. So this nut doesn't come out. This is a 13 mil. So get yourself a ratchet extension. And what it is there's a pin on the end. So you take that pin out. And then what you're doing is you're loosening off that nut. Well, that nut actually stays in there. And this bolt pin thing comes out. So you remove that. So we've got that removed. And now that we've got everything unhooked, we should be able to get at these 2 bolts. There's one there, and then there's another one hidden in behind the wiring here, and that again is going to be 13 mil. And once we take those out, I do believe we have everything disconnected to pull the steering column up out of the way. Got the steering column out of there. This is kind of in the way a little bit. You'll have to do some wiggling around to get that out, because there's 2 bolts in the back that I missed. So same as the front, they're 13 millimeter. Get in there with the long extension. And so you have 4 bolts total, 2 in the front, 2 in the back that are holding that up there. And then we disconnected where it comes out of the firewall there for our U-joint here. We disconnected that and disconnected all the wiring. So we've got that out of there. And now we can get at removing the dash. To look at getting rid of this dash here, we gotta try and find all of the connectors that need to be disconnected. There should be some in for the center portion of the console here. Heater controls, maybe the wires and plugs for the radio. We've got to open up the doors. I have to open up all the way to be able to access these plugs here. So what we have going on is this whole thing fits into this hole, this recess over here, and this rubber goes around this lip. So you pry the rubber off of here to access the plug. Now this plug can be a little tricky. Get in a little. So basically it's just these pieces in here. If you take a look, so you want to put your thumb on these, one here, one there. Those are on the back side. And you want to kind of tilt this plug outward and then maybe get at this top one right here. And you keep manipulating that until you're able to pull this out of the hole to access the plug. And then we're going to push that red lock up, and then we're going to pinch in this and then pull our plugs off on either side. So those are for the doors. And then I'm just trying to find all of our bolts here. So it looks like I think these are 13 mil. Over on this side, there'll be some over on the passenger side. And then up top here, it looks like we've got one there. Got one here. Way down in the bottom, looks like we got 2 over there. And I'm still trying to find what we got going on over here on the passenger side. So those are our bolts, I think, to pull this whole dash off. So we still got some disconnecting to do in the center and on the sides before we can remove the dash.